All right. Good morning, everyone. A very good morning. So, how are you all? Yesterday we had a quite an extensive session. So we covered a lot of concepts, and I hope it was. You were able to cope up, and the concepts were clear to you. You went back and you practiced a few questions, maybe looked through some concepts, or maybe some of you have gone through the video once again. So as promised, that today I will be spending first 10 minutes on the direct indirect speech, because just to wrap up with that topic, we'll do some practice questions, and then we will start with our next chapter, which is vocabulary. Yes. So are you all set? Are you ready with your study material, your notepad, your pencil? Is everything ready with you guys? Okay. I hope yes, because I can't see any yes here. I can only see good mornings right now. All right. So we shouldn't waste any more time, and we should just start with our practice session quickly. If there is any doubt, you can ask me now from chapter 2. Do not ask me once I start with chapter number 3. Okay. Okay. Quickly, just go through these sentences, and I want you to change them from direct to indirect. Okay. Let's do this quickly. I give you 5 minutes for this because this is going to take some time. So take 5 minutes at least and quickly get done with this. Akashnil, I really appreciate that you have practiced a few sentences and then you have taken the effort to send those questions and answers to me. Uh, I see that they're correct. You have changed the sentences from active to passive and direct to indirect sentences correctly. Akash, I'm glad that all your MCQ questions were correct. How many of you have actually practiced the MCQ questions as well? Okay, Chandan, we'll just start with that once again. Okay, Isra.
Imperative.
How to remember all these rules? Practice, practice, practice. No problem, Akash. You can go through the session again. It was yesterday, not tomorrow. Okay, okay. Just quickly get done with this. Rishu, when you say that you're confused between interrogative and exclamatory sentences, I don't know what exactly you mean. I mean, are you confused with active passive voice, direct indirect speech, or in general? Priyanka, I get it. You don't have to send it to me again and again. All right, let's start discussing the answers. The commander said, "March on, soldiers." So I see quite a few of you have answered this correctly. This is the commander commanded the soldiers to march on. Good. Father said, "Do you still intend to leave your job?" Father asked that whether so the father asked whether he still intended to leave his job. Ali said to him, Ali asked him to go away. Simple. Harshita, you can use ordered also. It totally depends on the tone and the way it is spoken. She asked to me, work hard at your studies. She advised me to work hard at my studies. He said to me, can you speak English? He asked me, could I speak English? I said, what a lovely girl she is. I exclaimed, what a lovely girl she was. He said to me, be punctual. He asked me to be punctual, or he advised me to be punctual. He said, what is the street number of your house? He inquired, or he asked what the street number of my house was. He says to me, where were you yesterday? He asks where I was yesterday. Where was I yesterday? She said, hooray, my brother has got the first position in the exam. So now please note here, when you're changing from direct to indirect, you will not include hooray. So basically, uh, the excitement words that are used, you don't use them when you're changing from direct to indirect. She exclaimed, she exclaimed, she said that my brother had got her brother had got the first position in the exam. He said, "What a mistake you have made." Okay, one of you have answered. He exclaimed with surprise on the mistake I had made. Yes, Kanishka, the day before. He said, what a mistake you have made. He exclaimed, he exclaimed with surprise, what a mistake I had made. Yes. Where was I the day before? Okay, so there was someone who had asked me for some queries, that is on the page number 2.32, the practice exercise for the statement M and for the I. Uh, I think there's some typographical error. I'll make the changes in the study material. I'll get the changes made in the study material also. I and M both are simple sentences. O is correct. That is a compound sentence. And E also the simple. Okay, so can we move on to now vocabulary? Is there any other problem that anybody has? Can I start with vocabulary chapter? Are we clear with direct, indirect, active, passive voice, both? Okay. Ravindra, I'm glad that you got all correct. Sure that this is right. He regretted on the mistake that I had made. Okay, I'll just look into that doubt again. Okay, so now today we will be starting with vocabulary. Now, vocabulary, just the way we have grammar, which is a very essential part of any language, vocabulary is another pillar that we need to consider for language, right? If you do not know the appropriate words to use, if you do not have a word bank or you don't have the words to express yourself, then what will the grammar do, right? Grammar can only bind the words together, right, to make sense. But to bind something together, you need words, right? And the words, by words, I mean appropriate words, right? So now we will be starting with vocabulary. We will understand about what vocabulary is, and how we develop vocabulary in our lifetime, uh, how we can enhance or build on our vocabulary. And we will be also talking about that, the kinds of vocabulary that we use, right? The kind of the knowledge that we can expand about vocabulary, how we can build on things that we know or we should know, right? We will also study about the words that we learn naturally in life, right? The kind of language, the way we start expressing ourselves, and also the fact that how different kinds of vocabulary enhances our creativity, and it enhances and how it makes our communication effective, right? And it also makes our conversation interesting. Good vocabulary makes the conversation interesting, how it can make your conversation engaging personally, professionally, how this will help you, in henceforth, whatever chapters you will be doing ahead. As I always say, the chapter 2 and 3 basically helps you to overcome or maybe to revise the concepts, for that is the base of, or that is the foundation of any language, right? Without this you cannot write, right? So if you do not work over on these two chapters, then you won't be able to work over your writing skills. To improve your writing skills, you need to work on your grammar, you need to work on your vocabulary. Are we good to go? Yes. Okay, let's start. Okay. I always say this when what I'm teaching right now. Let's focus on that, because if I start taking this right, all the doubts right now, then we will be left behind for vocabulary. I promise you, in the next last 5 minutes, I will again come back to these doubts. I promise, right? So let me start with vocabulary right now. After that, towards the end of the towards the end of the class, we will come back to this. All right. Okay, because that is a never-ending discussion and never-ending, doubt sessions that we'll have otherwise. Okay. So first thing first. Uh, Chapter 3. One second, guys. Let me just start with my PPT. Okay. Now, vocabulary. There are different words for vocabulary. You can call it word stock, you can call it lexicon, you can call it lexis, right? Vocabulary knowledge requires not only require knowledge of word meanings, but it requires a usage of words in an appropriate context and in a natural way. Now, knowing the words is not enough, right? The next thing you should know about the words is the meaning, the correct meaning of any word, right? If you do not know the correct meaning of the word, you will not understand the usage of the word, right? You will not know where to use this word or where to fit into which context. Am I clear? First thing is this. Second, once you know the word, once you know the meaning, you should also know how to use this word correctly. You know, how to use the words in the appropriate context. And, it should also come in a natural way. You should know how to use the words, right? So knowing the word and knowing the meaning of the word is not enough. You should also know how to use it. This is why I'm not sure if your teachers have already suggested you this or not, but it was always recommended whenever you learn a new word, use it. Try to use that word in the conversations you have throughout the day. If you're learning a one word a day, try to use that word during the conversation on the same day, so that you learn about how to use this word and it becomes natural to you, right? So you can fit into the context and you know that, okay, this is how I can use it, and that is only when you will learn to that is when you will make it a habit of using those words, right? There's a possibility that you know about 50,000 words, and every human almost hears about 50,000 words in their lifetime or in everyday language and everything, but they don't use 50,000 words because half of the times we don't know how to use the word, or we don't know the meaning of the word, we're not comfortable using the word, right? So the more you practice of using the new words in your writing, in your speaking, the better it will become. You will get natural with words. The words will become part of your conversation, right? And you will won't even realize the words that you will be using automatically to express or to explain in a certain situation. Am I clear? Okay. Fundamental tool of communication. Vocabulary is, of course, the fundamental tool of communication. If you do not have words, how will you speak? When a child is born, right, we start speaking to the child starts picking up the words that we are speaking to the child, right? For first 1 year before the child starts speaking, even uttering the one word, the first word, the child at least starts understanding what you are trying to tell him or her, right? So that you start picking up the words from ever since the child comes into the senses. After a time, the child starts hearing the words and understanding, right? And after a point of time, maybe 1 year, around 1 year, the child starts speaking their first word and second word, and then this goes on. How does a child develop the vocabulary? It is only because of the surrounding, right? A child is not taught grammar, yes, but the child listens to us and starts speaking the word. It starts building the vocabulary on its own. The schooling part and the college part is only to build on that, whatever the child is learning in the daily life, right? So when we put the child in the school starts teaching more words, and this is how we start building our vocabulary. Am I clear? Yes. Any doubts? Okay. Now, let's come on to this part. It's why vocabulary is important, why having a rich vocabulary is important, right? Let's look at the first thing, comprehension, right? What do you mean by comprehension? Comprehension means understanding, right? Understanding of the word, understanding of the word, what people are trying to talk to you. Abhishek, I know I will be getting it. I will get this uploaded after the class. Don't worry. Okay. So comprehension is basically understanding. Now, if you do not know certain words, so basically, okay, so two people are having a conversation, right? And one word, somebody has used the word, let's take a very basic word, economical. Okay, so during the conversation, one person has used the word economical. You know how being economical can, how saving the money can actually help you from the long run. Now, economical means saving the money, right? So being economical, when you are very, when you have this perspective of saving the money in everything, right? So now the other person doesn't know what economical is, right? And the other person keeps thinking, okay, the other person keeps thinking that what does it mean, and the other person who used the word economical maybe is trying to make the other person understand that how being economical is helpful in life, right? But okay, so now the other person doesn't know what the other person is trying to say, or how the person is trying to explain about being economical. What does the word economical mean? How save? It's about, it's surrounding about the word saving, and why the person is talking about saving. But the other person doesn't know what economical is, right? The other person will not get what the first person is trying to tell him or her, right? Because of the lack of knowledge of the word economical. Am I clear? Yes. So this is why having a good command over vocabulary is important. Maybe you're reading an article and there are few words that you don't know the meaning of, right? You might not get the exact meaning of what the writer is trying to say, right? So this is why it is always recommended that whenever you are reading something, right, there is no shame about it. You shouldn't be hesitant to it. Whenever you're reading something, or maybe whenever you're listening to somebody and there are certain words that you don't know the meaning of, you should always look up the meaning for to the dictionary for the meaning, right? Because maybe at that moment you don't know the meaning, after that you will know, right? And you will also know that how the writer or the speaker has used this word, and how you can also use this word, right? And this is how you build the vocabulary. Because if you do not look up the meaning, one, you will not get the meaning of the conversation or the article. Second, you will never learn a new word, and you will never know how to use it in your conversation later on. Clear? Right? So vocabulary is very important for comprehension, right? If not anything else, comprehension is very important. All right. Next part is articulation. Now, when I say articulation, that means that language actually helps us to express the exact meaning what we want, right? Articulation is basically to be able to articulate or to express yourself clearly. Okay. Articulation is also an art. Not everybody knows how to articulate well, right, in their writing skills while speaking, right? But there are few people who have like really good command over their language and their vocabulary. They can actually express themselves in the, the best way possible, right? You will actually enjoy that conversation. You will actually get the entire meaning of it. So if you know the good words to use, and if you know how to use them appropriately, you will be able to express yourself in a better way, right? You might make your conversation interesting by using good interesting words. Great. All right. So articulation is basically to be able to express yourself clearly, and to the exact meaning whatever you want to express. Ability to grasp ideas and think more logically. Okay, now let's break this. First part, ability to grasp ideas. So when I say this, when you are clear with the words or that are spoken or written, you quickly grasp whatever you are reading and listening to easily, right? That you automatically, your brain can pick up and understand that what is being said, right? You don't have to look up for the meaning, so you're not distracted. Basically, you can just keep on reading with concentration and you completely get what it is written there, what is being said there, right? And you can think more logically, because you will notice this when you're reading something with concentration and there is a word that you don't know the meaning of, and you just start quickly looking up for a dictionary. That's a good thing to do, but somewhere your concentration gets lost. Okay, because of course you're distracted, you have to look up for the meaning, right? But whereas if you're reading it smoothly, you know the meaning of the words, so you will be able to grasp it more, you will be able to absorb the idea more in a better way, and you will be able to think more logically. Maybe you will think of a step ahead, that now you've understood what is there, what else could have been there, and what do you agree with what you read, do you agree with what, if you do not agree with the thing that you're reading or listening to. You think, you analyze what you're reading, basically, right? Next is engaging conversations. Now, engaging conversation is a very important thing. Of course, when you are having a conversation, right, and you are using good words, the other person also understands, the other person is also responding to it, the conversation becomes engaging, right? You are completely absorbed in the conversation, and you both are equally participants of the conversation. Whereas what happens is that one person is good with their articulation, with their vocabulary, but if the other person doesn't understand what the first person is saying, the other person becomes distracted or maybe not interested in the conversation, right? To engage, if you want to have engaging conversation, whatever you're talking about, at least you should know the vocabulary around those topics or concepts or that field. Nobody is the master of vocabulary. Nobody can become Oxford Dictionary. That is for sure. We are humans in the end, right? We cannot know all the words written in the dictionary, and we can't in our lifetime also. I think 70, 80 years of our life is also not enough to know every word mentioned in the dictionary. But at least you should be well aware about the words that are used in everyday conversation, the words that you can use according to your field, your concept, your job, your business, or about regarding the products that you're working for. Even that would be enough to start with, right? And later on you can keep improving, and the better vocabulary is, the better conversation it is. Creating impression, of course. If you see all the 4 points, if you actually able to comprehend what is being said, if you're able to articulate what you feel, if you're able to grasp the ideas and think more logically, if you can have an engaging conversation with somebody, you are automatically creating impressions, right? So creating an impression is very important here. Okay. Okay, so yes, to have you can create impressions now. I mean, the first impression is the last impression, like they always say, and you can always build onto. You can create impression on others if you can actually hold engaging conversation with people, right? I think that is when people get really impressed, and but you have to I would like to just mention it here, that you don't have to only flaunt your vocabulary and how many difficult words you know. No, it also means that how you can articulate yourself by using the words that maybe everybody knows, maybe by using some basic words also. So everything goes hand in hand. You have to see whom you're having a conversation with, right? If you're able to use few words and articulate it well, right, that also creates an impression, right? Okay, am I clear? Yes. Okay, now Last is that there are three types of vocabulary words, which is basic, high frequency, multiple meaning vocabulary, and subject related vocabulary. Now, like I just told you about this subject related vocabulary. Just a second. Yes, I would like to repeat myself once again the way I said it, that it is not possible to learn every word that we read or every word that is mentioned in a dictionary. That is so true that we cannot do that. But at least we must concentrate on learning the words that are of more use to us than others, right? We should like I just told you that you can actually learn the vocabulary that you can use in your everyday language. You can use the words related to your work, your products that you're working for, in the organization that you're working for, the kind of vocabulary that is used there, right? Even that is enough. You can't learn everything under the sun, right? You don't want to fill your up with the words that you will never use, right? The maybe some vocabulary words that are not related to your work, and you don't mention about those words. So you should at least concentrate and master the words that you would be using, right? Okay, now let's talk about the three types of this thing. Now, these two types of words are, basically differ from, the words frequency of use, complexity, and meaning determines which type it to fall into, right? These categories are divided related to the way we use the vocabulary. Basic vocabulary is the basic vocabulary that we speak. High frequency and multiple meaning vocabulary. They are words that have multiple meanings, right? But when the word have a multiple meanings, right, or multiple words, then you should know which word to use appropriately at which place. We will be talking about this, in the next part of this chapter. Subject related vocabulary, I have already mentioned to you. Subject related vocabulary, knowing a subject related vocabulary is very important, very, very important. Okay, that is the basic to start with. All right. So, are we clear till here at least? I will not move on if it is not clear to you till now. Tavleen, creating expression, no, creating impression, not expression. Okay, so creating impression means that when you can hold a good conversation, when you use good words, when you are able to articulate yourself well, when you are able to express yourself best by using the good words, you automatically create an impression on others, right? Communication or conversation is the first thing, first tool of creating impression on others, right? Nobody is coming and seeing your work first. Nobody's going to come and see at your lifestyle. Nobody is going to come and see your degrees. They will first judge you with your conversation, the kind of conversation that you're going to hold. Am I clear? Yes. So that is the first thing that they will do. Which is why we're saying that, having a good knowledge about language is important. That is the first thing. That is the first, way people will get to know you, right? If they are impressed with you, with your conversation, then only they will work with you, right? Then only they will be engaging into business with you, right? But if they do not have a good first conversation with you, a good meaningful conversation with you, effective communication with you, then they will not work with you, right? So the creating first impression is very important. I hope it is clear to you. I will learn about, but I'm not able to use them. Okay, there's another doubt. In Mayank, I don't know exactly what you mean, but maybe as I proceed with this chapter, maybe you will get some clarity when we were talking about different types of vocabulary and how we use them and how we can use them correctly. So maybe you will get your answer. No, the speaking is not vocabulary. Speaking is having a communication. Vocabulary is the words. It's about the, the World Bank that we know. Okay, so I believe it is clear till here. Let's just start. Meaning of articulation is to express yourself in the best way, to whatever you want to say. If you can just, form good sentences, frame good sentences, and you are able to convey your meaning, whatever you're thinking, whatever you want to say in the best way, and another person also gets the meaning, that is called articulation. Where is it mentioned? Akash, I don't know where is it mentioned. If you could just specify. Okay, so let's start. Let's move on. Now let's talk about the types of vocabulary. Ash Babu, I am just coming to it. I will just start. Ujjwal, I just told you this. What is the meaning of the line? Having rich vocabulary helps us communicate in a more engaging way. This is engaging conversation. I just explained that if you have a good vocabulary, if you have a good command over the vocabulary, then you can have a good engaging conversation. If you can use the words appropriately, according to your work, according to whatever you're talking about, if you have good knowledge about the words that can be used according to the conversation that you're going to have, it makes it more engaging. Kritika, I will come on that. Don't worry. No, this theory will not come in exam. This is just for your understanding. I will, Isha. I will. I will. All right. So let's start with the types of vocabulary. Now, of course, there are 4 types of vocabulary. One is listening, the other is speaking, reading, and writing. All right. Like I just said, when a child is born, the child builds the vocabulary by listening to people around him or her. Right. So we actually build, and this is a very continuous process. This is a evolving process. This is a never ending process. Right. We learn new words each day. We learn about new things each day. Right. So vocabulary. Now, listening vocabulary is a vocabulary that we build when we hear and we understand things. Okay. Now, most adults can identify and comprehend about 50,000 words. Okay. We identify and comprehend. That means we can understand, identify and like we relate to the words. And comprehend is about like we're able to understand 50,000 words. But next comes the speaking. First, you start listening to the words, then you start speaking. You don't start straight away start writing the words, right? The child straight away doesn't start writing the words. Okay, so speaking vocabulary comes next. Then we learn to speak the words. And we barely speak 10,000 words out of the knowledge of 50,000 words, right? Why? Because number of words, of course, the number of words used while speaking than listening is far, far, far. It's almost like 1/5 of what we know. But the reason is the comfort of There are times we understand the words, but we don't know how to use them, maybe because of the pronunciation. We don't know the correct pronunciation of the word, or maybe we don't know the exact meaning, or we're confused about the meaning, or we feel that no, this cannot be used here in this certain situation, right? So we are basically not comfortable in using the words, right? And I feel pronunciation comes first. Most of the times we are confused about the pronunciation of the word, and this is why we are hesitant to use that. Maybe we'll say this word incorrectly and people will judge us for that. Second is the meaning. Now, to make yourself comfortable with the words, trust me, I also do this quite a lot of time. Whenever there's a new word, I always check the pronunciation on the internet. Now it is so easy to find the pronunciation of a word. You should always, whenever you're confused about any word, check the pronunciation. Am I clear? Yes. So these days you have this option on Google which says British pronunciation, American pronunciation, Indian pronunciation, right? So based on whatever you want, you can actually go through the pronunciations. There is a difference between British and American pronunciations a bit. At times there are words that are differently pronounced. Some sounds are different. So speaking vocabulary, this is why we use less number of this thing. Then we start reading. There are words that we read, and then that is how we pick up some vocabulary again. Now, we recognize when we read any text. If a person is reading, then this type of vocabulary happens to be the second largest vocabulary. People build their vocabulary while reading the most, and this is the second largest vocabulary, right? Again, when you read too much, there are certain words that you start recognizing automatically while reading, maybe, and but that is not, mandatory that you will be comfortable using that word also, but at least you know the meaning of the word and you start reading, you understand while reading, right? Needless to say, vocabulary grows with reading. Yes, this is actually needless to say. Vocabulary, you actually work with your vocabulary, you grow your vocabulary while reading the most. Okay. Okay. So then comes the writing. This type of vocabulary represents those words which we use while writing to express ourselves. Our writing vocabulary is intensely affected by the words we can spell, of course. So now, the way when I said in a speaking, when we are speaking and we don't use half of the words, that's because of the pronunciation. In writing, the problem comes with spelling. You know the word, you know the meaning, but maybe you are not sure about the spellings, which is why you're hesitant to use the word again, right? You don't want to use a word which whose meaning you are not, whose spelling you're not sure of, while writing an email, maybe while writing in your exams. So this is why this type of vocabulary also gets affected. Okay, right. So and in writing also, I think writing is like speaking, right? You will use the words in your writing that you're comfortable with. So I think we again use quite less number of words than we know while while writing. Clear? Okay. Now next comes that there are now further you can divide listening, speaking, reading, and writing into oral and receptive, and oral expressive and written receptive, or expressive and written vocabulary. Now, what does that mean? I think the names are quite self-expressive. Okay. Now, of course, now speaking. Now, let's start with listening. Now, listening is basically oral and receptive form of vocabulary, right? Because we are listening to it, right? Somebody is speaking the words orally and we are listening and we are receiving it. This type of vocabulary we receive and we absorb. Okay. Okay. Speaking is oral and expressive. Again, oral because of course you are speaking it. but expressive. In while speaking, you are expressing yourself. While listening, you are receiving. You are absorbing the words. But in speaking, you are expressing yourself. Right. So that's the expressive type of vocabulary. Reading again is written and receptive, because of course there's something which is written. You're reading something, right? And receptive. While reading, you are receiving. You are absorbing the words. This is why this is called receptive. Okay. And a writing vocabulary is expressive and written. Now you express yourself while writing, right? Also, the more you write, the better you learn about expressing yourself, the more you learn about articulation well, the more you are able to use new words, right? Writing is not necessary for others. You can write it for yourself also. Again, I don't know how many of you had such teachers, such English teachers who would tell you to have maintain a journal and write about your day every day in a diary. Now, why teachers used to tell you to do that? One, to document what happened in your day, how you felt, and you learn to express your feelings, right? But it also helps you to improve your writing skills. So this is why I teach, and so many of you, and maybe I have done that for some small amount of time, very short period of time. I've done this. You people actually learn to write their own diaries. That actually helps. It's a very good exercise for your writing skills, right? So because the more you write, the more comfortable you become with words, and you can use different words without hesitation. You don't want others to see that diary. If you do not do that, do it now. Start doing it, right? There are few things that I will be telling you to build, how to build onto your vocabulary, and then we will go with that. Okay. So are we clear till here? At least we're clear with the types of vocabulary. Any problems so far? Oh, yes. Our receptive vocabulary is normally larger than our expressive vocabulary. This is needless to say. I think after this, you understand this. The vocabulary that we hear and we absorb is larger than what we express. Right, Manish. I agree with you. Yes. So we all had such teachers who suggested this to us, who asked us to do this. Right. So are we clear till here? Can I move on? Any problem so far? Okay. So I'm going to start with the effective ways to build vocabulary. Tavleen, receptive vocabulary is the vocabulary that we receive, okay, while listening and while reading. So the vocabulary that we absorb while listening to others and while reading something, right? Here we are not expressing ourselves, we are just receiving. Okay, we pick words and we kind of absorb them. Okay. Do you want 5 minutes break before I start with the next topic, or you want me to continue for another 5 minutes and then take a break? I feel we should take a break now, and then we should join back at 12 o'clock, so that then we can just in continuity finish with connotations and effective ways to build vocabulary, right? Tushita, you should do it. Expressive vocabulary is when you express yourself, Mohammed. You express wherever you're expressing yourself. So you express yourself while speaking and while writing. and that is when you use the vocabulary that you are most comfortable with. But what I was suggesting you for your to improve your writing skills is that you should write for yourself, because that is when you can use the vocabulary without any hesitation, and you can use new words that nobody's going to come and read your diary. So once you're comfortable with writing and using the vocabulary, you will automatically start using while speaking, right? All right, so let's take a 5 minutes break, and then I will come back and start again, and we will continue with the rest of the topics, right? So let's join back at 12 o'clock. All right. So, yes, welcome back. I hope you all are back after the break, after a very, very short break. Okay. So, yes, now moving on, let's talk about effective ways to build vocabulary. I've been asked this question ever since I've started teaching you sentence types also. Students have been messaging me how to build vocabulary and how to do what. So, let's start with the first thing first. The first thing is be aware of words. Now, what do you mean by this? Be aware of words. So do not use the words that are foreign or new to you. Instead, examine them closely. Even before you look up the meaning of the word, you should attempt to deduce its meaning from the context. Later, you may also check the dictionary meaning of the word to verify whether your deduction was correct. Now, what does that mean? Now, whenever you read a sentence and there's one word that you do not understand the meaning of, it is suggested that before you look up the dictionary, read the sentence and see, can you find its meaning? Do you understand a little bit of this word? That what could it mean in the given situation, right? For example, let me give an example of a sentence. Okay, so there is a sentence. After the tornado hit, my house was completely destroyed. Okay, after the tornado hit, my house was completely destroyed. Now, maybe you do not the meaning of tornado. Okay, but can you understand a little bit of meaning? What is tornado? What do you understand? If you actually do not know the meaning of this word, so the sentence is after. Now, if this is a sentence and this is the word tornado and you don't know the meaning of, okay, so what do you understand? What are we talking about here? uh so some of you got little closer, somebody have got like way, I don't know where you have reached. Okay, so let's try to deduce the meaning of the word tornado. After tornado hit, my house was completely destroyed. Now destroyed means like in terms of physically destroyed, broken, right? The walls are down, windows are down, or maybe all the stuff has been destroyed, which whatever there is. So that means it is to do something with the natural disaster, right? Maybe you're not sure of what this natural disaster is exactly, but at least try to find out the meaning before you look up to the dictionary. After that, you look up to the dictionary and say, oh, violent storm with a very strong wind that blows in a circle, right? This is a dictionary meaning. But before you look into the dictionary, see, there's so many of you do not know what tornado is, but you are able to say that yes, this is a natural calamity, some sort of natural calamity. You don't know the exact meaning. So this is what we suggest: be aware of words. First, try to find out the meaning, all right, and then look up to the dictionary to double check that were you correct or what does it mean eventually. So it says that the foreign words, do not avoid using the words, do not avoid the words that are new to you. Try to find out the meaning, try to decode the meaning of a sentence. Am I clear? Yes, this exercise will really help you if you do that. Okay, next is read. Now, I'm sure the teachers have been telling you ever since your primary classes, and Okay, so read. Please make it a point in your life that you read for at least you know uh 20-30 minutes in a day. Trust me, this is a very good exercise. One, it is good for your mind, right? Second, this helps you to improve your communication skills. This helps you to build on the words. This teach tells you about how to use the word in different contexts. So maybe you find one word that has been used differently in different contexts, so you learn about that and you learn new vocabulary. You improve your grammatical skills. So there's so many the I would say benefits of reading, right? And at a personal level, reading always helps you to grow, right? You learn about new perspective. You Tushita, whatever interests you, read. I never tell people to restrict themselves. You like a fashion magazine, read a fashion magazine. You like a business magazine, read a business magazine. You need a self help book, read a self help book. You want a fiction to be read fiction. You want to read something new, fiction, something related to history or, some social issue, read. The only thing is to read. Yes. Uh, okay, reading is important. Yes, I will say, Tushita, you've also asked me how to. I have improved my vocabulary from Netflix, watching international web series. There is nothing wrong about it. I always suggest that too. Right? Watch good stuff. Do not watch things that use some, colloquial or a very, casual language. But there are certain shows which are so good. Yes, and English nachos are mostly mostly hit in North America. Yes, that's correct. Right. So, watching good, meaningful movies also help you to build on your vocabulary. Am I correct? Am I clear? Yes, there is no harm, right? But reading will also, improve your writing skills. Also, how you can frame your sentences and how you can, articulate well. So both have their plus and minus, and both will really help you to build onto your vocabulary. While you are watching any show, you are listening, right? When you're reading, you are reading. So both are receptive form of vocabulary, right? Listen to the good music, listen to watch good shows. This is how you can build your vocabulary. Am I clear? Yes. Use a dictionary or thesaurus. uh, Dictionary, of course, you should always have a dictionary now because of phones. It is so common. Vibhuti, we are done with tornado. Please come out of tornadoes and just be with me. Okay. Dictionaries, yes. Now because of phones, we have dictionaries so handy with us. Now everything is readily available, right? So you can just quickly look up to your any word that you want anytime. Thesaurus. Thesaurus is a very important thing. I use thesaurus.com a lot. Okay, thesaurus.com is a website. So you can find different words for the things. Okay. I'm not sure if I can show you this or not, but I'll take some permissions. I don't know if I can show you thesaurus.com, but you can always go back and on your screens, on your systems, you can look. So, for example, you write the word happy, you will find the list of words that you can use instead of happy. Okay. Uh, Yes, and thesaurus. Then you can find more words to use. Some antonyms also, synonyms also. So you can use that. Reading part, yes, of course. Newspapers, magazines, whatever you want to read, just read with good content. Something that has a good content, read. Okay. These children magazines, Reader's Digest, and all. Even these used to be very good magazines, so you can always read. Maintain a journal. I have already told you this. Now there are two parts of this journal. One can be about expressing your feelings. One is about maintaining the word list, right? If you are if you are disciplined enough to do that, do that. Yes, this always will help you to build your vocabulary. Okay. Maintain a journal for your word list. If you can discipline yourself to maintain a journal and make the list of words and with the meanings or maybe some different words to be used, uh, again, this is a very good exercise, would help you in a very long run. Use new words. Try to use new words every day. Okay, try as much as you can, right? I always tell my students this, that your initial, when you're a student, you have a lot of time to work over your skills. Once you will start working, you will be so engrossed in your work and you're trying to balance your work life and balance in your personal life and your professional life, that you might not be able to take out time to work over your skills, such skills, language building skills. So it's very important for you to start building today, right? When I teach my younger kids, I tell them also, I start telling the kids from the primary classes to build on the vocabularies, write, read, because later on, see, language is part of our life. Why to spend time later on, maybe after 10 years of after our lives, to start working over language? Why can't we do it today? When we have time, we are students, we don't have any responsibilities, we don't have any work responsibilities, we don't have to deliver anything anywhere, we are just working for ourselves here. Work as much as you can on your language today so that it gives you fruits for your life. You are going to sow a seed that is going to become a tree and start giving you fruits when you start working and in your life ahead. Okay, study new words regularly. Yes, because if you read and if you watch good stuff, you will find new words. Go back to roots. Now, going back to roots is like understanding from where the words came, and there are certain words that derived from Latin language and from your Greek language. There were words that were used from there. Uh, so that helps you to understand the prefix and roots. We will be doing this in the prefix and suffix section. Then you have attempt word puzzles and play word games. Yes, I always recommend that. Play games. That is fun way of learning, and that is a fun way of using the words also. So you can play crossword with your siblings, with your friends. Now you have so many word games online. There is this word game. The name of the game is Word Game on Apple Store, or maybe it's on Android also. I don't know. So that's a very good thing. So you play crossword with random people. So it's a very good way to do that. Okay. I heard some motivational speaker who's also a good entrepreneur, and he said that, when you start your day, for the first 30 minutes, you should read something, right? First, it refreshes your mind. Okay. Second, it makes you positive. Third, of course, it helps you in your language building skills, right? Because in the morning you have a fresh mind, so whatever you read, you absorb the best. I'm sure your parents also say beta suba pado. You will be able to absorb, and you be learn better. So this is why, make it a habit of reading. Somebody suggested me podcast. Yes, that's my favorite thing. You should listen to podcast. And podcast could be related to your subject also. Some, maybe a good CA has a podcast channel who actually tells you about your field. I think it's good to go. So you're learning two things. You are building onto the vocabulary, and you're learning also about your going to be profession. Great. All right. So are we good till here? Do we understand? Yes, any problems that you have? Are we clear? Have you got the tips that you wanted? Now, would you be following that to build the vocabulary? Yes. Okay. Uh, let's start with an exercise before, because I think this is too much of theory today. So let's just do one little exercise. Okay. I want you to make sentences. I'm going to give you two, three words, and I want you to give me sentences using those words. Hmm. All right. Remind, nag, and ask. I want you to make three sentences using this. One, remind, second is nag, third is ask. This is N. Is there anyone who doesn't know the meaning of the word nag? Yes, Subhash, your text is reaching me. Akash, I don't have a ready list of podcasts that would help you to build your vocabulary. Give me some time, I'll come up with a list. Okay, quickly make the sentence with the words remind, nag, and ask. Pooja, what is negative? Quick, 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 guys, quick. Tushita, good. Akash, where are your punctuations? I don't understand from where when the sentence starts and when it ends. This class reminds me of my school teacher. I don't know what it means. All right. So it was a small exercise. Okay. I am glad to see the responses that I've received. Okay. Now, if you see somewhere, all remind. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 sentences and then I will explain you the meaning. Remind first. My my teacher reminds me to bring my project tomorrow. Okay. Next. My friend my friend nags me to not to forget to bring my to bring notes tomorrow. Okay. Next. My mother asked me about my day at school. Okay, look at all 3 sentences. Now, these all 3 sentences, all 3 words are have something to do with, asking and reminding, and nagging is also something like, to repeat something constantly. Okay. Now, what is the difference if you look at the sentence? Which word out of these 3 you feel it's a very negative, it is used in a negative way? Which word reminds, nags, or asks? Which word you think is used in a, very, not a very positive way? It's nags. Okay. Yes. Okay. Remind is a very positive word, and this is a neutral word. It can be used in any context. Now, see, a word, they a word can have a multiple words that mean the same, almost the same. But the usage is different. How you use the word, if you use it positively, if you use it negatively, if you use it neutrally, yeah, that differs. Right now, you should know where to use the word. If you say, my teacher nags me to bring my project tomorrow, no, the teacher doesn't nag you, right? The teacher doesn't bother you. Teacher doesn't say, like, keep repeating one thing again and again. No, right? Nag is the word when somebody keeps repeating the same thing again and again, to keep asking you for the same thing again and again. Shailendra, what is wrong? What is this? What do you want me to explain again? Garima, no, nag doesn't mean irritating, but it is irritating someone by asking something again and again. Nagging is you to keep asking or to keep repeating something again and again, like to do this, to do this, to do this. Remind is to remind you, just to, so that you don't forget. If I remind you in a very positive way that you have to bring your project tomorrow, right? My mother asked me, my mother is not nagging me to tell her about the day, right? My mother just asked me that how my day was at school, right? But my friend is nagging me to not to forget to bring the notes tomorrow. Am I clear? No, it's not harassing also, Animesh. No, 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 no. Neutral means you can use in any context. It's a very safe word to use. Okay, right? So now with this, I will be starting with my next topic, which is connotations. But yes, again, before I start with connotations, there is just one thing that is left. Types of vocabulary. Now, these are the types of vocabulary, and we will be doing it one by one. So, synonym is, of course, when a word has a multiple meanings, multiple words that mean the same. Okay, uh, like happy. Instead of saying happy, you can use the word content, joyful, ecstatic, delightful. No, it doesn't, Rangna. Yes, Vinayak, it's a good sentence. Why everybody's making such sentences? Mothers don't always nag for to get married. All right. So yeah, synonyms is basically when you have multiple words and that has almost a similar meaning to each other. Foreign words are the words that are words that have been picked up from foreign languages have become part of your language. Like we use bon voyage is very commonly. So when you want to say tell someone to have a happy journey or have a safe journey, you use the words bon voyage and bon appetit. It's like happy eating, have a good time eating. Connotations. Now the example that I just gave you, that is connotations, right? Words can mean similar to each other, but there are some emotional meanings attached to it. Some words are used in a very positive way, some words are used in a negative way. They mean almost the same, but they're used in a very different meanings. So like nag and remind. You cannot say my teacher nags me. You say my teacher reminded me or asked me to bring, right? But not nag, right? So you have to use the words appropriately. Antonyms, of course, the words that mean opposite to each other, that is bad, good, right? Collocations is the two words that are used together usually. They have become part of each other. Light sleeper, early riser. So when there are two words that come together and they're used together, they're like compound words, and then they have there's certain meaning attached to it, right? And we are in the habit of using these two words. Okay, okay. Yes, rendezvous is a French word, Mohawk. I've already explained the four types of vocabulary, Shilender. That's already done. Okay. Idioms. Idioms are the group of words that have a certain meaning attached to it culturally. And, these idioms have been passed on from generation to generation. And those group of words have all not the literal meaning, but has a different meaning altogether, right? Phrasal verbs are verbs that words that are used together as phrases. Break down, give up, right? So such words that used together and they have a meaning attached to it. Okay, so are we clear till here? Can we start with connotations? Yes, let's start with the first type of vocabulary. Now, why are we going to teach you about these kinds of vocabulary? Now, having a knowledge about these kinds of vocabulary will build your knowledge about vocabulary. It will build your word bank, and and it will make your writing style interesting. It will improve your communication skills. Great. Are we good to go? Shall we start? Are you able to absorb what all has been discussed? If you tell me to go ahead, then I will go ahead. If there is any problem, ask me now. Shall we start? Subhash, I'll discuss collocation again. Mohak, idioms will do when we start with idioms. Let's concentrate on connotations first before I want to finish this before 1 o'clock so that we can move ahead onto different topics before when we meet again at 2 o'clock. The eerie fog hovered in front of the abandoned house. Okay, look at this sentence and tell me how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel positive or negative? Rangna, wait. We're coming on to it. No, Animesh, hover doesn't mean this. I want you to just read the sentence and tell me how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel good or, very scary or very negative, positive? What does it make you feel? I don't want the meanings of the words right now. I just want you to tell me how does it feel to read this sentence? What kind of a feeling you have? Negative. Yes, Rangna, I will be. Need to check the schedule. Akash, how is it a positive sentence? The eerie fog hovered in front of an abandoned house. First of all, abandoned is a negative word, right? Abandoned makes you feel that something has been left alone and not looked after. Okay, hovered is something that is hanging in air for a long time, right? And eerie is something strange, right? So all these words are used negative to give you a negative feeling. All of these words are negative in their meaning. Creepy, scary, yes, right? Right? Now, the word like fog. Now, fog is usually, the water droplets that is there in the air, right? Now here, this fog. What do you understand by fog here? What kind of a fog? Why fog word is used here, and what is the person trying to say by using the word fog? Quick. Okay. So fog is, very spooky and a very ghost-like meaning attached to it here in the sentence. So now, it totally depends on the use of words that you use to explain something that makes it positive or negative altogether. Okay. Now, coming on to the word, now look at another example. Hmm. Cylinder. Oh my God. Now, both these words mean thin in their actual meaning. Okay. But slender is used when you want to tell someone somebody is very thin and attractive. But scrawny is used when you want to tell someone that, you want to say it in a very negative way that, oh my God, you don't look good because you're so thin. Okay. So this is a negative word and this is a positive word. Both mean thin, right? So this is what connotations is about. Connotations means that you have an emotional meaning attached or suggested meaning attached to a word, right? Now, like for example, like abandoned means something that is not looked after. It's a negative word. When I say this is an abandoned dog, that means there is no one to look after the dog, right? This dog is left alone. Am I clear? So there are certain words, like for example, Monday blues. If I say I am feeling Monday blues, now blue is a color, right? But when I say Monday blues, that means I'm feeling sad. The blues word has the emotional suggestive meaning of sad. So you should know the meaning attached to the words, right? Before you using it, you don't know if the word will be taken positively or negatively by the person, right? But yes, there are few words that have a very neutral meaning. There's words that are lying in the middle. They can be used in a positive way also, they can be used in a negative way also. So there are certain words that are used that way. Why you should know about connotations? It's a very important thing. Maybe you are complimenting somebody. Like, I'll give you a very good example for this. uh, Yes, you want to, appreciate someone for being so strong and focused for their career and, doing everything so perfectly well, have a good grip over their life, they're balanced and everything. You say, oh, this person is so headstrong. Okay. Whereas you want to say, this person is so determined, right? Headstrong is usually taken in a very positive way, but no, headstrong means that this person is so rigid, you cannot change this person, you cannot mold this person doesn't adjust to any situation. If the person wants this, he wants this only, right? But determined means somebody who is very firm on their decision, they're very positive about it, and they're moving with a very positive note. But a headstrong person does not even take advice, right? People uses words interchangeably, but it is not used interchangeably. Am I clear? Another word, if you tell someone that this person is handicapped, it's taken positively. You are talking about somebody's medical condition, you're talking about somebody's disability, right? But the word like crippled, it's a negative word. You do not tell someone that this person is crippled, right? Because that is taken in such a negative way that you're calling somebody crippled. Crippled is imperfect, right? But whereas you want to talk about in a very positive way that, this is the disability this person has, right? So you need to take care of this person. But the kind of words you use creates all the impact, right? And if you do not know the connotations of the words, then again you lose the conversation. Maybe the person is trying to say something negative to you sarcastically, and you take the person very positively, right? And but the other person was saying something negative to you. At the same time, somebody is trying to compliment you and say something good to you, but you take the meaning of that word negatively, and again you lose entire conversation, right? So again, that's a negative thing for you. So but you will only understand about connotations when you will read about something, when you listen to the conversations. Then only you will understand if this is positive, negative, or completely negative. Denotation. Somebody asked me what is denotations. Denotations means a literal meaning of the word. Am I clear? Sorry. Denotations means literal meaning. Okay. And connotations mean the suggested meaning. Clear? Yes. Like, for example, I give you this example: remind, nag, and ask. Literally, if you see, all will mean the same. But the way they are used, that's different. Nag is a negative word. When I say this person is nagging me, that means this person is irritating me by asking questions, right? Reminding is a very positive thing. Somebody just reminded me to do something, which is a good thing. But if I say ask, that's a neutral, right? I can also say my friend has been asking me again and again for the notes, right? So it's a very neutral way. I'm not too negative about her. But when I use the word nag, that means I'm completely negative. I'm fed up. Clear? Yes. Yes. Now, something like, okay, now look at these words. Now, when we use such words for somebody, okay, now look at these words. Now, these are not literal words. If I call somebody he's a snake, that does not mean the person is a snake, like an actual snake. No, right? What I'm trying to say is that this person is like a snake. This has the qualities of snake. Okay. Uh, that means that this person is not true to his friends. It can be a back, this person does backbites, and it can stab you from your back. So this person is not honest, right? If I say she's a tigress, that means I'm comparing her with a tigress. It's just saying, like, I'm using the word tigress here to say that she's very strong, bold, not a woman who has four legs, right? No, I'm trying to say that I have a different connotation to it, right? They are simply playing the politics. That means I'm talking about somebody who is playing games, just like politics. Somebody who wants the people to fight, or maybe you're not honest. They're just trying to be very political in their view. So that is all. These are connotations that I'm using, right? Now, snake has a negative connotation to it. So clear? Are we clear till what connotations are? Do you want me to give you another example? So connotations basically help you to express yourself. It makes your language interesting. You don't have to, use the literal meaning of the words again and again. Okay. Yes. Uh, you basically this makes your conversation interesting when you're writing something. Also, when you use such different types kinds of connotations, it makes your writing creative, right? It helps you to understand and give a perspective to your writing skill, right? And people appreciate that. People who understand, if you've used the connotations appropriately and the other person also understands, then it's going to be very good for you. All right. So it's a different way of saying. Connotations you will always improve when you will practice. The more you practice, the better it will become with it. Okay, so I've already told you about positive, negative, and neutral. Positive connotations are people that make something good, feel good about it. Negative is words that provoke negative emotional feelings. Neutral is word that can be used anywhere, positive, negative, both ways. A language is a subjective in nature and it evokes different psychological reactions from different people. Now, everything will have a different, every word that you say, every sentence has a different meaning to it. Every, thing invokes a psychological reaction, right? So if it evokes a positive, it's a positive connotation. If it evokes negative, then it's negative connotation. But to understand everything, you should first know what positive and negative is. Now look at these examples. Smell is a very negative, neutral word. Fragrance is a positive word, right? And stench is a negative. So when you are feeling a negative, very bad and awful smell, you say stench. When you want to say that you're feeling good about some perfume or some flowers, yeah, because of the a good smell in a room because of flowers, you call it fragrance. uh, Look at the word inactive, laid back, lazy. If you want to tell somebody the person who's not really active, you can call it inactive if you don't want to hurt somebody. You can also say that laid back, this person is a bit laid back. But using the word lazy is completely negative. And yes, Priyanka, that's true. Just quickly go through these words once, the positive and negative ones. If I say my friend and I are debating about the COVID-19 situation, right? That means we are having a healthy debate. But the moment I say my friend and I are argumenting about COVID-19 situation, that automatically you will feel that there is something negative conversation going on, that these two people are fighting. But when I said debating, debating is a positive word. We're discussing. I mean, we don't agree with each other, but we are having a healthy discussion, right? I am focused about my career, right? I have a focus, I have a plan, I am working towards it. But if I say she's obsessed with her career, that means she's so crazy about her career that she doesn't see anything else. She is not aware about what is happening around her. She's just crazy to be something, but that's not a good thing. Being obsessed with something is not good. That means something controls you. um what else? Okay, I want you to make the sentences with the word uh, energetic and hyperactive. That's the last pair given on this slide. Energetic and hyperactive. This one. Quickly make the sentences with energetic and hyperactive. Then plump and fat, relaxed and lazy. Quick. Yes. Looking at the word with you, rosy glass. What does it mean? I mean, this is not grammatically correct, but rosy glass, yes, that means you are looking at the world with a very positive feeling, in a very, that you want to appreciate the beauty of the world. Yes, good. Quickly make the sentences with these three pair. So energetic is a very positive word. Somebody who's full of energy to do something. Okay. Hyperactive is basically somebody is not in their control. They're just behaving to be full of energy, to behaving in such a way which is not required, right? But energy is that somebody is very positively energized to finish the work, or to participate in something, right? Relaxed and lazy. If I say I am relaxing right now, that means I am relaxing in a positive way. I'm done with my work and I'm relaxing and chilling. But lazy, being lazy is that you are not ready to do and finish your tasks which are left, right? And you're just lying down and you don't want to do anything. You don't want to finish your work, right? Relaxing is usually people relax once they are done with their work, right? Lazy is people are chilling without finishing their work. That's the difference. Plump and fat. So when I say that, oh, this baby is plump, right? I am appreciating, and I'm saying in a very good way that shows the baby is so cute and baby is plump and good health, right? When I call somebody fat, I am trying to demean somebody. I am trying to comment and body shame somebody, that, oh, this person is fat. Clear? Yes. So I think we are pretty much clear with connotations. Let's quickly look at this exercise. I want you to identify which sentence has a positive connotation and which sentence has a negative connotation. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Let's look at these exercises also. Yeah, chubby is also good. Okay. Quick, quick, quick. You have 4 minutes for this. Take 4 minutes to finish this exercise. We will discuss before we go for a 1 hour break. The sandwich is moist. The sandwich is soggy. Which is positive, which is negative? I mean, you use these words and you know what a moist sandwich is and what a soggy sandwich is. Moist is positive, soggy is negative. Very good, Isra. Very, very good. Manish. No, I think no, first is not negative. So moist is in a good way. But soggy is when somebody has a moisture and it's completely destroyed. You can't eat it also. So soggy is a negative word. When you say the biscuits have become soggy because they are not crunchy anymore, so they're not good to eat. So sandwich is moist is positive. Sandwich is a soggy is negative. Next, she is very assertive and she is pushy. Assertive is positive. Fourth is pushy. Pushy is negative. So assertive is somebody who wants to keep their point and others to agree, but in a very positive way. But pushy is somebody who wants others to agree and somebody just pushing his or her point constantly. The dress is expensive, but is definitely worth the price. This dress is overpriced. Now, expensive, when you call something expensive, that's positive. But when you call somebody overpriced, that's negative. Both means the price is on a higher side. But expensive means it's worth it. Overpriced means it's not worth it. Okay. The fragrance of roses has filled the garden. Get rid of those eggs. The stench is overwhelming. Fragrance of roses is positive, of course. Roses, they have a beautiful fragrance. Stench is negative, right? They're like, I can't even stand the smell. Just take it out of the room. The coffee is bitter. The coffee is too strong for my liking. Now, bitter is something that I cannot take it at all. That is negative. 10 here with the topic connotations. All right. Let me know how did this session go for you all. And I will meet you at 2 o'clock now. Okay. And I will start with the topics ahead, which is the jargon words and the synonyms and antonyms. So let's meet at 2 o'clock. Go have your lunch, come back, and then we will start again. Somebody asked me the meaning for overwhelming. Overwhelming means to feel something very strong and extremely great about something. So, all right, guys, let's meet at 2 o'clock. Let me know how this class was and if you're clear with the topic so far. Bye bye. Sir? Sir? So, do you have to log out and log in again? This one is done. Yes, this first part. I'll join at 2 o'clock now.